JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 23rd of June 2020. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon live session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute any invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Also, just a quick update on what's happening here globally. So yep, the figure continues to rise slowly, but of course we'll take a look at all this tomorrow morning when the numbers will get a little bit more updated. But for now, yep, the numbers slowly continue to rise. So yep, let's see if we can bring the number down finally. Now then, jumping into a few charts, the first one I want to touch on will be the German DAX here. As you can see, the index traveled higher today this morning, and yep, it broke above this level, the one that I was talking about, the 12,484 zone. And of course, the fact that it's now trading above it, of course, creates more of a excuse me, guys. Creates a more of a positive atmosphere here, and of course this way, if the index remains above the 12,484 zone, then yes, a further acceleration to the upside could be possible towards the current highest point of June near the 12,913 level. And of course, if we do reach that area, we'll take it from there, because well, we will want to be careful, because if all this area here on the top will provide a good resistance, we may see the index drifting back down, and potentially maybe here we could see forming somewhat of a possible ascending triangle. However, of course, it's too early to talk about that, just something for you to keep in mind. But again, for now, from the short-term perspective, yes, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside, especially if the if the index closes today above the 12,484 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into NASDAQ 100 now, the US market is still not open. But basically, looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is already balancing at a new all-time high. So basically, we'll have a nice opening gap here to the upside. It will be above the previous all-time high, the highest point of June, near the 10,155 level. And as I said, looking at the cash index right now, it is currently balancing near the 10,195 zone. So yep, basically a nice good up move here, a nice new all-time high for NASDAQ 100 today. So yep, let's see how far this can continue moving north. We did look, there was a bit of data that came out today. Basically, we did have the European kind of European PMIs coming out, the manufacturing and the services, from a bunch of European countries here, from France, Germany, and UK, and basically, and for the Eurozone as a whole. So all managed to kind of beat their forecasts. So yep, the European indices are leading the way today. And yep, they can see that the cash indices are following suit. So and then like I said, in here in this situation with NASDAQ 100, yep, we will have a nice opening gap here to the upside, and basically this way forming a new all-time high as well. The S&P 500 as well looking quite positive, and the S&P right now is currently balancing at around 3,145 zone. So basically it's above this this key area of resistance near the 3,131 zone. I spoke about this one, but the more probably important is this the high of last week, which is around the 3,155 level. So we are still going to be below this level, unless the today the positivity will pick up in the US markets, and we will see this one pushing further north. Now let's get rid of these upside lines. Basically this is no longer valid. This is from my previous analysis, and now what we're going to do here is we're going to aim for this level here, the 3,155 zone. A nice good pop above this could open the door towards the current highest point of June near the 3,233 mark, and if we do reach this area, then yep, we'll take it from there. For now, everything's looking quite positive here for the S&P 500. So let's see if it can manage to create a new high for June, or will this level, the current highest point of June near the 3,233 level, will it actually provide decent resistance? Jumping into silver very quickly, so the commodity is popping higher nicely. So as you can see, it found support near this 21-day EMA, from which it kind of reversed and is now pushing higher. In my previous analysis, I had this this downside line here taken from the high of the 2nd of June, and basically right now we can see that this line is getting violated. However, we would prefer to wait for a daily close above this downside line in order to aim for higher levels. Still, of course, don't get me wrong, still we do have a bunch of resistance levels here, like for example this 18.919 level, which is marked by the high of the 10th of June, or actually this the highest point of June, the current highest point of June near the 18.38 zone, which also could provide a bit of resistance. So that's why for now, yes, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside, but preferably we would at least like to see a nice good daily close above this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June. In terms of the downside, we would be pretty straightforward. We would need to see this one dropping lower below the 21-day EMA here, and maybe then sliding below somewhere around here, somewhere below this the low of last week near the 16.95 zone. But again, we'll reevaluate this again, and we'll reevaluate this commodity if it gets here closer to the 21-day EMA again. But for now, it's pushing away from it to the upside, and yep, it's currently breaking this downside line. So let's see if it manages to stay above this downside line. Now Bitcoin, yesterday after a nice pop here to the upside, the crypto managed to test this downside line, which I'm still keeping on the chart, and this one's taken from the highest point of December 2017, and as you can see, the crypto now is kind of struggling for today, is struggling to overcome this downside line. Of course, we'll continue monitoring this, but as I mentioned before in one of my videos, that with Bitcoin, in order for us to get a little bit more excited with higher levels, we would at least like to see not only a break of this downside line, but also a push above the 10,045 level, which is marked by the which is the highest point of May basically, and then yes, we could maybe consider a further acceleration to the upside. Until then, all this area right here is still neutral, because even with the downside, we would like to wait for a daily close below the 9,300 level that I've mentioned before, and only then aim for lower levels. Quick update on NZD CAD. Now, this is what I talked about this morning. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 0.88 level, which the pair is currently violating. However, the big question here is, will this pair will the daily candle stay above this area, above the 0.88 zone? If it does, then yep, of course, this could be opening the path towards much higher levels, or should I say at least slightly higher levels. The next target for us would be the highest point of July 2019 near the 0.8890 level. But again, for now, we're being very careful here because, like I said, we would like to see a nice daily close above the 0.88 zone. If we do get that, then yes, we will aim for that highest point of July 2019 near the 0.8890 zone, and then of course we'll take it from there. If this pair actually stays below the 0.88 territory, well, I mean, maybe, well, we'll still remain probably a little bit on the neutral side, or maybe even, actually, I would say maybe cautiously bullish still, because this still could drive higher maybe tomorrow. But again, for us maybe to consider let's say a bit of a decline here, we would like to see a drop below the 0.8712 territory here, and only then aim for slightly lower levels. But even so, if we do get a move like that, then yes, this could be classed as a part of a temporary correction, because as you can see, the pair continues to balance above this short-term upside support line taken from the low the 19th of March. Quick update on USD JPY, and this pair is moving lower and breaking this 106.57 zone, something that I mentioned last week when I was covering USD JPY, and now the pair is traveling towards its key area of support here near the lowest point of May at around 105.94 zone. So for now we will keep an eye on this level, and if we do get it, if we do see this pair staying below this 106.57 zone, then of course it kind of leaves only a small area here to fill up before hitting this 105.94 zone, and then we'll take it from there, because this is going to be quite an interesting area to watch. If this provides support, we may see a bit of a rebound and maybe a correction back to the upside. However, if it fails, now this is where a lot of excitement here in the eyes of the bears could appear, as this would as the break below this level would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, another forthcoming lower low, and then yes, lower levels could be met. But until then, we're going to keep it short and simple. First, like I said, we are keeping an eye on this 106.57 territory, which is already broken, so the next little pit stop here could be near this 105.94 level, and yep, we'll take it from there. Quick update on GBP CHF. So the pair, after breaking this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March, it is now drifting to the downside, further down, but as you can see, this area here, the lowest point of May, is kind of currently, let's say, providing a bit of support here, or should I say, this area near this lowest point of May is providing a bit of support, and that level, the lowest point of May, is roughly near the 1.1725 zone. So we'll keep an eye on this one, and in a way, for us to get excited with further declines, we would like to see a nice good drop below this, and then we could aim for, like I said, for lower levels. But until then, we're gonna be very careful here, because in a way, if this area does provide decent support, as it kind of has been doing right now so far, we may see a bit of a push higher. However, how you could look at this from the very short-term perspective is keep your eyes on this little short-term tentative downside resistance line, which for now is still intact, and in a way, if this gets broken, then maybe higher levels could be met. But until then, we're gonna remain very careful and slightly on the bearish side. But as I said, we would prefer to wait for a drop below the 1.1725 zone and then aim for lower levels. Quick update on Euro GBP. This is what I talked about this morning. This morning we were still hanging above this 0.9020 territory, and what I was saying, that if this area continues to provide support, then we may see a nice push higher here towards maybe towards the 0.9150 territory, which acted as which was seen here as an inside swing low back on the 23rd of March. So for now, basically, long story short, we are leaning more to the upside. Our next target is around the 0.9150, and then we'll take it from there, because like I said, we want to see if this area does provide a bit of resistance, and if it does, we may see a correction back down. But for now, we're leaning a little bit more to the upside. And finally, Euro USD. So this one's popping nicely above this downside line. So yes, of course, the bulls are in control today. As I've mentioned this morning, basically how you could have looked at this, and this is what I was talking about this morning, that if this downside line gets broken and we see a nice good firm move above it, yes, of course, this kind of increases the chances of a possible move higher. However, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could wait for a push above the 1.1384 zone, which is marked by the high of the 5th of June, and then aim for higher levels. You could start, maybe for those who are more on the a little bit more impatient, I would say, you could start looking at the higher levels at 1.1353, but still be very careful, because we may get a hold up somewhere around here near this 1.1384, and yep, we'll take it from there basically. But of course, we do have these highs, the current highest point of June, which is roughly around here. And let me just put this one on the chart. That's roughly around the 1.1422. But again, let's not. We'll pick up on this level as well if we get, if we start seeing a strong push above the 1.1353, and then we'll take it from there. Like I said, we'll keep it short and simple. Today, if the pair remains above this downside line, then of course, yes, it increases its chances of a possible further move north. Because for us, in terms of the downside, for us to consider the downside, well, we would prefer to wait for a drop below this little area right here, starting from the 1.1168 zone, which is the low of last week, and then aim for lower levels. Until then, for now, guys, the pair is pushing higher. We still have half of the week to go in front of us, so yep, we'll see how this is gonna kind of trade during this whole week. But for now, at this point in time, it is leaning, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside. Keep your eyes on the 1.1353 territory. That's marked by the high of the 16th of June, and if that gets broken, then we could start, like I said, slowly climbing higher here. We'll go step by step on this one, because it's a tricky one as well. So so yeah, for now, guys, like I said, let's see if it can climb further north, and in general, let's see if this pair can actually go and reach its current highest point of this year, near the 1.1496 level. So yep, for now, this could be our overall target. So guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time. If you want to join my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.